Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's webinar, having a look at Qlik Insight Bot. My name's Andrew Dinnan. I'm a solutions architect here at Perfect Image, focusing on the data analytics team. As I say, we're going to have a little look today at Qlik Insight Bot. I'm going to talk you through some of the reasons and benefits you might want to start considering Qlik Insight Bot within your organization. And then obviously we'll dive into a little demo as well. Should you have any questions as we go through this afternoon webinar, feel free to reach out in the question and answer box or the chat. And then if we've got any time left at the end, we'll circle back around and answer any of them questions you may have. So I want to start off this afternoon by having a little look at what natural language processing actually is. Natural language processing describes the interaction between the human language and computers. You see examples of this within many modern smart devices, whether that's on iPhones, Google Assistants, Amazon Alexas, or any other device with some level of personal assistant built in. It's the ability to ask the question in natural speech and have the device process that question, understand that question, and return the results. Now, whether that's asking for directions, sending a text using your voice, or actually asking for your favorite song in the morning. However, these devices have created new expectations because at your fingertips, you now have the ability to find whatever information you need within seconds. But this expectation is now following you to your line of business. And why can't you expect the same level of information and speed for your business? It should be easy to understand what your sales for yesterday were. It should be easy for you to understand where you are against targets or budgets. And it should be easy to do this by simply just asking the question. Let's take a moment to have a look at a quote from Gartner. Gartner quotes by 2021 that conversational analytics will drive adoption of BI and analytics from 35%, where it currently is, to 50%. So that's going to massively increase the adoption of analytics within your organizations. Conversational analytics can dramatically improve the adoption of analytics by every employee rather than just power users or business analysts, resulting in higher business impact. This is really going to open up new groups of users ready to consume data and make data-driven decisions to better your organization. So, with that in mind, the Qlik Insight Bot itself provides an AI-powered conversational analytics experience, giving people a faster and easier way to ask questions, generate insights, and make data-driven decisions, all using natural language. Insights can include auto-generated charts, interpretations, key drivers, period over period calculations, predictions for measures, and even more comparative analysis. Users can set alerts for KPI thresholds and share and collaborate conversationally. Insight Bot provides an easier way to gain insights from the data you're already using in Qlik today, allowing you to reach and empower 4 more users within your business to really drive and increase that adoption figure that we mentioned earlier. Conversational analytics are a great way to quickly ask questions and get answers, available to everyone through simple, natural language interaction. However, open-ended questions and situations often require visual discovery to dig deeper and uncover hidden insights. Standalone natural language products are limited in their ability to drive discovery without being combined with a rich visual discovery experience. Qlik Insight Bot is bridging the gap between visual discovery and conversational analytics. Because it's built on top of Qlik's associative engine, users can ask questions in a conversational manner and then seamlessly dive directly into Qlik Sense apps based upon the results, with the context retained. Unlike standalone products, this unique approach offers the best of both worlds, really allowing users to enter an experience conversationally and then transition into a visual exploration for deeper understanding and discovery. With the Qlik Insight Bot, organizations can reach far more users, really driving data literacy with a faster and easier way for people to ask questions, generate insights, and make data-driven decisions. Qlik Insight Bot delivers the associative and augmented intelligent capabilities of ClickSense to the edge of the organization, making it easier for everyone to interact, share, and collaborate with data, wherever and however they work. Because it works across ClickSense apps, it makes analytics more accessible and allows people to find the right insights even if they don't know where to look. And it's very important that we're trying to surface insights they might have otherwise missed. It can be readily accessed within ClickSense, as well as through popular collaboration tools such as Slack, Skype, Salesforce, and Microsoft Teams, allowing you to get more from the tools you're already using today. And again, help promote that adoption of analytics, make it even easier for users to consume data within your organization. So let's take a little look at a demo. So what I'm going to do is let's open up my ClickSense Hub. So as many of you are probably familiar with, we're in ClickSense here. We can see some of the different applications where we've got lots of different insights, but maybe as a user, I just want to question that a little bit quicker. Maybe I don't know where this insight is, which application I need to drive into. So this is really where we're going to see some of the power of the Qlik Insight Bot. So what you may notice is in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen within the hub, I've got myself a little Qlik Insight Bot icon there. I can go ahead and press on that, and what that actually does is open up this little messaging window for me. And you'll notice now I can start to have a little conversation with the Insight Bot, and it's actually prompting me there to type a message. So maybe I just want to get started and say hello, and I get a nice little greeting back. It recognizes who I am, and I'm just making sure my Insight Bot is nice and awake before I start this analytical discovery experience. So maybe I want to quickly get started here, and maybe for demonstration purposes, I want to ask quite an open-ended question here. Maybe I want to know a little bit about my sales, something familiar to most organizations, I'm sure. So what we can do here is say, what are my total sales? And you'll notice there, I've just asked that question very much in sort of natural speech. It's how I would ask someone over a desk, over a conversation. And actually what that's done there is it's gone away. It's understood the context of the question I'm asking. And then actually it's generated some insight and passed that back to me. So there you'll know we sort of get that overarching answer to our question there. What is my total sales? Well, it's 177 million. You'll notice we get some chart generation underneath that. So actually we can start to visualize our sales over time. If I was just to press on that to open that up a little bit more, actually what we can see there is that total sales value sort of trended across different months there. And obviously we've got up to the current month there, June. And what you'll notice there is obviously our sales have dramatically dropped in June. Not worried about that. We're only on the 3rd of June. Obviously, we haven't completed a full month like the previous month there. But again, it's just some nice visual representation to really start getting us thinking about these questions I'm asking. Underneath that chart generation, what you'll actually notice is it's actually then telling me as the user where it's actually gone and found this insight. And you'll notice it's actually prepared a chart for me to go open up within ClickSense and really start a deep dive and ask further questions within there. Importantly here, you'll actually notice it's found a source for me, and it's actually recognized that the source for this is Perfect Retail. Now, you'll notice I've got an application in the background there, my ClickSense Hub of Perfect Retail. So what that is letting me know is it's found the answer to that question in that application, which is great. And imagine now I've got some extra questions. I really want to go and analyze this a little bit further. All I actually need to do is press on that source, and actually what it's going to do is open up that ClickSense app for me. And now we're presented with this traditional ClickSense app where actually I can go and interrogate this a little bit further and ask some more questions like I'm sure most of you guys are used to. If you do have any questions on any of the traditional ClickSense app, again, feel free to reach out after the call. We're really trying to focus on the Insight Bot during this webinar. But really what we're trying to get at here is we've quickly gone from that conversational analytics straight into that deep dive discovery to allow us to get more answers from the questions we're asking. And this is great. But then again, after that, you'll notice it then prompts me with more information it thinks I should be interested in. Maybe you should be interested in what your total sales were last year, last quarter, last month. actually maybe we want to be a little bit more mature about that and actually have some year-on-year comparisons, quarter-on-quarters, month-on-month. Of course, these can all be sort of fitted to your fiscal calendars, or whatever that case may be. But right now, actually, I'm interested on last quarter. So I can actually just go and ask that question of last quarter. Now, again, what you'll notice here is it's actually been smart enough to remember the context that I was talking to it in. So I was asking about total sales. So the minute I go ask a question of last quarter, actually remembers that context, and then it presents me the same context for the latest question, i.e. total sales last quarter. And again, there you'll notice actually we get this answer of 13.5 million. We get some chart generations within there. And again, I can always then link that back into my Qlik Sense apps and go and sort of deep dive on that a little bit more. Well, actually, I want to build this up a little bit more. I'm not quite ready to go into my apps. I'm going to be very lazy, and I want Qlik Insight Bot to surface me a few more insights yet. So maybe what I want to understand is, right, well, for that total sales, how does that look like by product categories? So if I just go show me top 5 categories, what it's actually going to do is actually, again, go and take that context in the world of total sales and start presenting me what that looks like by my categories. So there we go. We can understand packaging material as my top bestseller there, 102 million. Clothing's in next at 50 million, etc., etc. And again, we can go and have a little look at this. And again, we've got some chart generation here. Packaging material, great. We can see that's a real big earner compared to everyone else. Actually, maybe that visual isn't quite great for me, because maybe I want to understand a little bit more about the sort of the segment share within my product set. So maybe what I want to do is just change this question slightly and say show, maybe what I want to do is say sales by category. So a very similar question, but this time I want you to show me it in a pie chart. And again, it's actually took that same context, but this time it's recognized the fact I've asked for it in a pie chart, because really I wanted to try and understand that segment share within there. And again, we can sort of have a look at this in a little bit more detail. So this time I can see that packaging material is actually 35% within there. And then obviously my next one down, clothing, is 17%, and that's great. I want to try and get a little bit more out of this. So actually what I'm going to do now, if I ask it to turn on insights, what this is going to do is it's going to ask me what type of insight I want my insight bot to return. Now, everything you've seen so far is simple insight. It generates the chart, gives me some figures, great. Now I really want to get into this a little bit more. So now I'm going to ask for advanced insights. And what this is going to do there, you'll notice it's turned advanced insights on, but it's just going to give me more context out of this data. So let's not do anything amazing now. What I'm going to do to demonstrate this is ask the same question. I'm just going to ask, show me sales by category in a pie chart. And as you might expect, what it's actually going to present back to me is that same visualization. I've not asked for anything different, but actually this time it's going to surface some more insight for me, which I wasn't originally looking for. So if we just take this top example here, packaging materials and clothing sales contributed for 52% of my sales. So I know that of all the revenue I'm bringing into my business, that more than half of it is actually down to 2 categories. And then actually, if we read that a little bit further, it says total sales of packaging materials is concentrated on 120 cities, which is actually only just under 25% of the cities my business actually sells to. So already I've uncovered something I might have missed earlier on by just having a look through a dashboard, is actually that my biggest selling category is only sold within 25% of my cities. So straight away, I've gone and got some actionable insight in there. I can go drive a marketing campaign to take my best selling category and push that into 75% of the cities we're not currently selling that category in very well at all. So straight away, I've got a massive actionable insight, which is really going to benefit my organization. So that's great. Maybe what we want to do now is have a look at some of these categories a little bit more in a little bit more detail. Now, what I do notice in there is one of my categories of toys has quite a low market share. Now, that's funny, because I would have expected toys to be a very, very good seller within there. People always tell me toys, toys is one of your best selling categories. Actually, my data is telling me something a little bit different. So let's have a little bit of a closer look on that. So if I just say filter on toys, again, what you're going to notice here is that, again, it picks up the context I'm asking. It knows I was looking at categories, and it's gone and found the categories of toys within categories. And now you'll notice there it's actually applied a filter of toys in category. So now the questions I ask of this is only going to be looking at that toys category. So now I want to actually drill into this a little bit more, and I want to understand, right, where are we selling toys? So maybe I want to say, show me my top 5 cities. And you'll notice about how relaxed I can be about some of these questions I'm asking. You'll notice at the very beginning, I had a very structured English question of what are my total sales? However, now I'm being quite lazy and I'm simply just saying top 5 cities, but it's smart enough to understand the context I'm asking of that data. And again, if we have a little look at this, because we've got quite a lot of insight this time, top 5 cities, so London, just over 58 grand, then York, Sheffield, etc. Again, we've got that visual insight. And again, we can link this back in our Qlik app if we really want to go drill down into that. But this is great, and obviously we've got some great insight within there. But actually, this is why toys is not selling so well. So maybe what I want to do is, now someone who was telling me earlier, toys is one of your best sellers, I have this information to really go back with them and say, this information is not true, and here's the data to support it. So actually what I'm going to ask it to do is email me. I want you to email me the insight you've just provided me. And you'll notice there it says, I've sent you that email. We can have a little look at that in a few minutes. Now, what I also want to do as well is really start to drive some of the sales within here. So I really want to try and be a little bit more of a proactive analysis on this data. So at the minute there, you'll notice London is £58,000, just over. Actually, what I want you to do is alert me when sales for London reaches 60K. Again, I want to be very proactive within here. Tell me when this happens, and then I can go and drive some more business decisions based upon this data. So as soon as I do that, you'll notice it's great. I've added that alert for you. Do you want to make it recurrent? Does it want to be a one-off? Do you want to disable the alert? I'm happy to leave it as a one-off, and obviously it will alert me when that happens. Now, obviously, what is important to point out here, where I've said, email me, alert me, there's no reason I can't say email Paul, email Andrew, alerts Kate. And obviously this is really opening up that collaboration piece across the organization by actually being able to send information to other people, actually set alerts for other people, and really start to collaborate on the ClickSense apps we've already got built out here. But happy, great. Having a look at this in a little bit more detail, what we might actually see in here is obviously London is my biggest selling region within here, and then we've got York. Well, that's a bit of a problem for me because actually York is obviously a much bigger area, much bigger population. I've got much more of a base to go and sell to, so I'd actually expect that to be a lot higher. Maybe I want to have a look at that in a little bit more detail. So maybe what we want to do is say compare London to York and really start to drive some of this comparative analysis within here as well. And actually what we'll have a look at is out of some of this insight is that London sales is actually only 2% more than York. That's really, really disappointing. Maybe that could be because we don't have enough sales reps in London really pushing my products. So let's go and have a look at some of that information as well. So maybe I want to ask, what is my headcount? And this time what it's going to do is go away and have a look, and obviously it comes back and says your current headcount is 212, of which 123 people are in or sales heads. And again, we can go and understand, right, where are these people based per region? Does London have enough sales heads? But the key thing I want to get across here is actually this time in source, you'll notice it picks up my source is perfect HR. Well, that's different because if we actually have a look at all our previous insights, it's actually been getting our insights from our perfect retail app. So actually, what's really important to understand here is actually my Qlik Insight Bot has been able to understand where the insights are and actually what data is best to serve the question I'm asking of it. So it's not just being trained on one application. We can train it across all the applications you have within your ClickSense environment, and actually it'll be context aware and actually go and pick the best insights to actually answer the question I'm asking of this. So I'm going to leave that there when we have a look at Qlik Insight Bot in this instance, let's quickly just jump over to my email and let's just quickly confirm that it did actually email me the insight I was looking for. So we can see here, I asked for top 5 cities, it's given me this insight, great. And again, I just wanted a copy of that. So now I can sit down with Paul and shout at him that he was wrong about toys being one of my best selling categories. One of the things we mentioned earlier as well was really around that collaboration piece. And what we don't want to do here is have another product, another system, which actually just makes everything a lot harder to use. And you'll remember we mentioned the likes of embedding this into Teams or Skype or Salesforce and really empower the users where they're currently working. Let's put it into the collaboration tools they're currently using. So let's have a little look at this. And I've just dropped into Microsoft Teams here. You'll notice I've already tested this, so we've already got some insights here. But let's start off again saying hello. And again, that Insight Bot is saying, I'm here, I'm ready to serve you, what's your question? And again, I'm just going to ask it some very similar questions here just to demonstrate this. What's my total sales? Again, you'll notice how relaxed and lazy I'm being at this point about the questions I'm asking. You'll notice there, hold on, I'm just away off to Qlik. I'm just generating this insight. Within a couple of seconds, there we go. Total sales, 177 million. Nothing really different to what we asked it earlier. And again, it's generating that chart where I can go have a little look at that. Again, same question, same answer, always a good sign. Gives me that comparative analysis in there as well. Maybe what I want to do this time is actually say, right, well, actually show me the dimensions. So what this is going to do is actually pop up the dimensions which are in my Qlik app. So I've got category, city, customer names, great. Let's have a little look at customer name. And again, it's kept that context. It knew I was asking about total sales there. It's now saying, right, I'm going to apply this context of customer name against total sales. Goes and generates me the top 5 customers in there, gives me some information, obviously shows me some outliers, etc. Importantly here as well, you'll notice it says, okay, well, you've asked about total sales, I being the cash value. Maybe you're also interested in orders. Obviously, maybe what we want to start understanding is when we've got people who are spending a lot with us, is that on a few high value transactions or is that a lot of little low value transactions? So if I was just to press on orders, what that's going to do is go and generate me that same insight, but with the context of orders within there. So you'll notice it's always trying and prompt me with, you should consider this. Why don't you be a little bit more mature in your question? And here's some more information for you to start to consume. What we can also do as well is if I was just to say, surprise me, what it's going to go and do is go and find something within my data I might have not knew. So you'll notice there is actually quarter of my sales is only from 130 cities within there. Again, just something maybe we can start to act upon and have a little look at within there. So I'm going to leave it there from a demo point of view. But if we quickly just summarize some of the information we've actually seen there, what we've actually done is obviously just passed it that natural question there of, can you show me our top sales reps? And actually really, it's been able to understand that natural language I've really passed across. It's then being able to process the question in the context. It's been able to find the result I'm looking for within my data, and obviously give me some insights back there. So really, it's that ability to ask for a question in plain English. Insights are generated, including chart generation, further information, outliers, and really that recommendations of where to analyze next. And of course, always linking back into your Qlik dashboards for deeper analysis. What is worth mentioning at the moment is there is some incentives and price promotions on everything we've just seen here today. So around the Qlik Insight Bot license itself, and obviously the consultancy services package from us as Perfect Image to actually get you started, installed, some training, helping you guys understand how the Insight Bot works with your apps a little bit more, and obviously just preparing some of your apps to be ready for the Qlik Insight Bot. It's very, very simple, but obviously just that training package and getting you up and started. If you are interested in any of this, please feel free to reach out and ask any questions you may have. Contact us for any questions you've got. I have seen a couple of questions which I'll get to in a minute. But for any questions after this webinar, feel free to reach out if you've got any questions about this webinar or anything Qlik related as a whole. It's worth pointing out that Perfect Image. We are a Qlik Elite solution provider. We were actually Qlik's #1 elite solution provider last year for UK and Ireland, for the last 2 years running actually. As I say, all the contact details are on screen, which I'll leave up for a few minutes. My email address is on there as well, so if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out there. So thank you for joining today's webinar. I do have a couple of questions which I'll quickly have a look at. Is the data that drives this categorized in a data warehouse, or is it in a series of views from the system of origin, i.e. Perfect Retail? So what we've seen there is the data lives in a QlikSense app. So the data doesn't have to be staged in a data warehouse. So actually what I've done in that Perfect Retail example is actually the data can come straight from them transactional systems, straight from the source systems. So if I've got some point of sale systems, actually that data can be read straight into them systems and lives in Qlik. If I've got some CRM data, again, that data can be pulled into Qlik. And really the data is just in that QlikSense app, ready for the Insight Bot to use. We don't have to slow that process down by having a data warehouse. Obviously, if you've got one, great, we can utilize that. But we don't have to have one. We've got another question there, which what is the license model for QlikBot? The license model is a single site license. So you buy a license which covers your estate of Qlik. Obviously, users to consume Qlik Insight Bot do need an underlying QlikSense license, whether that's a token-based license, professional analyzer, whatever. But obviously, the fact that they have the ability to press on a link and go into that app, they'll obviously also need that sort of underlying QlikSense license there as well. Could I share the slides? Yes, I can share the slides. I can follow up with that. And is it in real time or batched? The answer is both. In this specific example, it was batch data, so obviously there's a schedule or refresh there to go pull the data every hour or every day or whatever that time frame might be suitable for the customer, or every 5 minutes. Importantly, I mentioned some examples there. Maybe the EPOS data needs to be every 5 minutes or every minute. Maybe the CRM data just needs to be every night. We can obviously stagger what information we go pull from. But obviously, where I said that example was batch, we can also do the real-time data within there as well. So obviously, if we've got EPOS systems, we can obviously real-time stream that using CDC change data capture to actually get that data straight away to be able to analyze on it there. Obviously, always the challenge back of, is real time necessary? What are you trying to achieve? But I think the key thing to get across there is it's all possible. So that's all the questions I've seen there. Thanks again for everyone joining. As I say, feel free to reach out, whether it's to your account managers, and the email address is on screen. If you've got any questions, or if you want to follow up, I really do encourage you to sort of get in touch, and we can have a look at it in a little bit more detail for you yourselves. So as I say, thank you all for joining. Hope you enjoyed.